Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the 2025 Porsche Cayenne S. Huge shout out to Hendrick Porsche Charlotte for providing this SUV for me today. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. This Cayenne is finished off in white. MSRP is just over $126,000. This is powered by the 4-liter twin-turbo V8. It's paired to an 8-speed automatic, and it pumps out 468 horsepower, 442 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the all-wheel drive system, propelling this 4,600-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds. It has a top speed of 170 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 23.7 gallons. You'll expect to see 15 miles per gallon in the city and 21 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 114 inches. Its overall length is 194.1. It has a width of 78.1, a height of 66.9, and its ground clearance measures in just over 8 inches. Now, as we take a look at the exterior styling, you'll notice up front there are a lot of cutouts to provide cooling to that engine. Take a look at how massive these inlets are just underneath the DRL and turn signal, where there's also active grille shutters behind that, and then the dark housing for the headlights and high beams. Now there's also a forward-facing camera, another sensor for distance pacing, all the parking sensors too, and then take a look at the approach angle that you get with this model. So you already have a lot of ground clearance, but you also have a good approach angle in the front there. So if you're pulling up to a parking space or a curb, you have plenty of room there. There's also very nice lines that come down the center of the hood. Now, as we work our way to the side, you'll notice the fender arches are body colored. This also has a very nice set of wheels along with the red brake calipers. You'll notice power folding side mirrors, which are body colored. They have a camera and a turn signal. And then there's chrome window trim. You get brushed accents for the roof rack, and then a full moonroof up top. Very nice lines running down the side just to give it a classic look. And then in back, there's a body colored spoiler along with the third brake light. Wiper blade is in the lower section. There's also LEDs with the light bar that runs right through that power liftgate. There's a backup camera, all the parking sensors. This can even tow right around 7,700 pounds. And then the dual exhaust is on both sides there. Now, in order to gain access to the cargo space, you can use the button on the key fob or the electronic release located next to the backup camera. Now, with the size of this SUV, you have plenty of space. You'll notice too that this does have the adaptive suspension, so you can actually raise and lower the rear end of this vehicle. So if you have some items and you want a lower load height, that is going to make it very easy. There's also a cargo net on the one side there, and you also have the spare tire with a little bit of storage underneath the floor. There's also tie-down hooks. You have this cover here, which you can remove if you need to. And you can also fold down the back seats to give yourself a lot more interior space. And then with the two buttons up top, you can either close that liftgate or lock the vehicle. Now, if you do lock the vehicle, just grab any of the door handles and that will unlock it. Now, this model also has a really nice tan interior with all of these trim accents. You have lock and unlock, Bose audio, and storage in the lower section. And then there's a two-tone design for these seats, which have a great look. Now, you do have a control on the side. If I pull on this, that is how you can release it to fold them down to get that interior space. And you can also use that to recline the seat. So this is locked in the up position, and I can just grab on that to recline to get a little more comfortable. Now you'll notice I have plenty of space down below. These seats also move forwards and backwards. So if you need more legroom or more cargo space, you can adjust those. Now you also have storage nets, you have vents in the middle, and then all of your temperature adjustments along with the heated seat controls. There's auxiliaries underneath that with a little bit more storage. And then at my height, I have maybe 1.5 inches or so of headroom. So you can be comfortable, recline these seats all the way, and just have a spacious second row for this SUV. Now you also have the armrest with cup holders, and you can fold down this middle seat individually if you need to. So you have that option. Now you also have the cargo windows in the back, so that way it makes it easier to see around this pillar here. And then up front, this has memory seating adjustments, the window controls, mirror adjustments, and more storage down below. And then the power operating front seats, which have a good look to them. Now it's a pretty low SUV, so it's easy to enter and exit, where we're greeted with a solid leather steering wheel. And then the engine start stop button is located on the left side. So with my foot on the brake, let's bring this to life. And coming back to the digital gauge cluster now, you can go through a lot of this information with the controls on this right side. So I'm going to start on the far right, where I can use the rotary dial to go through a little bit of this information. Now you'll also notice that blue icon. That's how you know where you are going to go through this information. So when I push on it again, it's actually going to go up to the head-up display. So we can look at the distance pacing or your tach and a lap timer and miles per hour. Now if I push on it again, you'll see it highlight blue on the left side. So now we can scroll through some of that information. And then the last one is going to be right in the middle. And this will allow you to change the entire gauge cluster settings just depending on the information that you would like to see. So you have a good bit to go through just depending on how you want to view all of this information. Now there's also paddle shifters. You have your Bluetooth adjustments, voice commands, and volume. And there's also a button for the driving modes. Now pushing on the middle, you'll see the sport response count down from 20 seconds. That is going to give you a little bit more boost in order to pass, merge. You just want to have some sporty fun. You can use that control. Now if you twist on that dial, you have a few different driving modes, and hopefully you can see on that far right side, it will adjust automatically the exhaust, the suspension, and the height of the vehicle. So you can program those as well, just depending on how you want those to react. Now you have your cruise control stock. There's also the headlight adjustments, so you can go through those and monitor them on the infotainment or the gauge cluster. You have one air vent there, and then there's also a clock in the middle and a very large infotainment system. You can go through quite a lot of icons here, including your sport chrono. So this is going to increase your 0 to 60 time as well. And you can go through some of this information here. You also have your navigation. You can go into vehicle, where you have a lot of adjustments that you can go into, even your drive mode here. You have the sport exhaust, along with some daily driving information. There's also shortcuts to the navigation and music. You have your phone when that is paired, and then a shortcut to the information that I just showed there. Now here's your gear selector, so push it all the way up for reverse, where you get the backup camera, and then you have drive in the manual setting and park located just above that. Now there's also air vents. You can open up this compartment where it reveals wireless charging, and you have some additional auxiliaries there. And then all the climate adjustments are laid out very nicely. You have fan speed, temperature, heated and ventilated seats. And then you have a climate menu. This is how you can also gain access to the rear. So you can go through all these adjustments from up front, which is very nice. And then you have volume behind that and a few other of the defrosters. Now there's also some storage behind that, along with a 12-volt and cup holders. You get more storage in the armrest, along within the glove box. You have a nice trim accent over there to blend in with the infotainment system. And then you get garage door buttons up top and adjustments for your sunshade and sunroof and dome lights too. And then here's a look at visibility from the driver's seat, where it's very easy to see. You have a lot of glass for this SUV, so you really don't have any blind spots. As we set up behind the wheel now for the Cayenne S, this is definitely a very luxury-focused SUV, but it's also going to give you performance as well. So let's put it into Sport Plus, and we can use the paddle shifters here. That exhaust sounds so good too. So you can definitely get a beefy exhaust note from this V8. Now you can also go with some higher trim levels, but I think this is a really good kind of in the middle in terms of having performance and having a lot of nice features as well. You definitely have plenty of power for just normal day-to-day driving. The shifts are pretty quick too, even at the slow speeds here. And it's a very nice vehicle. You sit high up, you're going to have a lot of ground clearance. There's even the off-road setting as well, if you choose to take this off the pavement, maybe some gravel roads type of driving, things like that. But it has a really nice seating position to it and a lot of visibility. So it's very easy to see all around. It's also going to provide you with a nice, comfortable ride. Having that adaptive suspension is definitely going to soften up the feel of the ride, especially on any bumps that may be in the road. I have that in my BMW X5, and it is definitely, once you have it, it's kind of hard to go back away from it. So it's definitely going to give you a nice, comfortable ride. It's also going to be very luxurious feeling, pretty quiet too on the inside, aside from the exhaust. Not all that loud under that acceleration, but when you downshift, you can definitely hear it. I really like the interior for this model as well. It's been several years since I've been behind the wheel of Porsche models, so it's nice to see the updates and some of the refinements that they have added over the last few years. I like the fact that we have a good bit of technology, but it's also incredibly easy to go through with a minimal amount of controls as well. You get physical buttons for all the important items that a lot of people seem to want. Of course, like your AC, your heated and ventilated seats. You don't have to go through the screen to get through all of this important information. So it's very easy to use, and then you have all of the tech on the screen. I personally like the layout. I think this is a really nice design without going overboard and having too much technology, but again, not having kind of the bare bones either. So it's a really nice layout. Steering wheel has a good feel to it as well. We do have the automatic adjustments for that, so you can get that dialed in. Seats are comfortable too, and at my height, I have maybe 2 inches or so at 5'10", but we have the height adjustment as well. So if you are taller than me, you can definitely fit. And we're still in Sport Plus second gear. Here we go. And just a mild acceleration. This definitely has a lot more potential, and that exhaust sounds so good for this SUV. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we do have some other driving modes, so we can tone it back just to a normal setting where it will change the exhaust too. We have different suspension settings that you can get into as well, along with the exhaust. Now, you also have this sport response. So we'll push on that. We're currently in 4th gear. It looks like it dropped 2 gears, and now you're able to accelerate how you would like to. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the Cayenne S. You have a lot of different specs, a lot of different trim levels too, that you can go with for this model, and it just gives you a really nice vehicle to drive. If you're looking for a luxury SUV, this is going to be a great option if you need those sport utility aspects to it. Like I mentioned, I own a BMW X5, so something similar to this in terms of being luxury and having capabilities. I use mine to tow about 6,000 pounds. You could easily put something of that weight behind this model, and with the adaptive suspension, auto leveling in the rear, it's going to be a confident vehicle to use if you want to use it for towing, if you want some of that performance, and then just being practical as an SUV. So it's really a well-rounded vehicle if you're looking for this type of SUV. That also sounds really good too. And we even have these windows here, which I forgot to mention earlier, just to give you a little bit more visibility. And that is going to wrap it up for the 2025 Porsche Cayenne S. Once again, a huge shout out to Hendrick Porsche Charlotte for providing this SUV for me today. Take a look at their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.